Hi, this workshop we're going to be making this ice yacht. They were taken out on the Broads in the winter time when the rivers and everything was all iced over. So we're going to do this in two parts. For the start off, we're going to make the base of it, and you're going to need A4 piece of card, and this will make the outside bit here. So we need to cut the A4 card 2 centimetres wide, and we need 9 strips of that. Then we're going to need, for a plank across the bottom, 2 pieces of card 34 centimetres long by 4 centimetres. The skates are just rolled up piece of card 7 centimetres by 7 centimetres, and we're just going to roll that up. And the last little bit is a stack of cardboard to make something to put the mast in. So I'm going to cut our strips of card. So I'm just going to do one. Just cut 3 strips. Put 3 pieces together, and then we're going to stick them together with some masking tape. So I'm just going to put some about there, another one. In the middle, just need about 3. There we go. So we've got 3 like that, and we need to have 3 pieces like that, and then the same with plank that goes across the middle. Just going to masking tape that again. So I've got 1. It's just to hold it together. Afterwards, we're going to paper mache over the top. So that will do for that. So the next thing we're going to do when we've got 3 of these is we're going to need to cut them to shape. So I'm just going to turn off the camera now and I'll do that process. Okay, so I've done my 3 pieces and the centre plank. So the first thing I'm going to do, take 2 of them, and I want to make an A shape, sort of like that. So if you cut off one of the corners, like that, put the other one next to it, get your sort of A shape, and then you want to cut down from that. I think I need it to be a bit of a more of an angle, so we're just going to cut it again like that. I'm going to put that one on, and then I'll draw a line show, when I've done the line, I'll show you. So I've got my line, I'm just going to cut that. You can always cut bits off, that's the beauty of cardboard. Yes, a bit more I think. We want an A shape, so I'll just a little bit more, a little bit more of that one. I would say that's about it. Could use the glue gun actually at this point. I'm going to do that, just put a little bit of glue down that joint. Oops, and the masking tape as well. Okay. So we've got that nice A shape. Now with this other piece, I'm just going to cut it in half. I want to join this bottom one like that. So if I cut across there, hopefully this will work. There's a bit of trial and error to get that angle right. Approximately there. So you need to do the same with the other side. It's easier if you lay it flat. Alright, so I'm going to cut the bottom like that. On the other side as well. Get our nice joint at the bottom as well. I'm just going to pop a bit of glue on there. There. I'm going to have to lay it flat to stick the glue on. Some for the middle seam as well. I'm just going to reinforce it with some sticky tape. What it looks like on the inside doesn't really matter. We're going to cover the whole thing with paper mache. So we just get it roughly done, as long as it doesn't fall to bits. That's our outside frame made. Now the next thing, we need to put this one across there. Right, okay, I've got some more cardboard and I needed to make another plank to go across there. So it needs to be 4 centimetres wide by the length of your ice yacht. So I'm just going to glue that in place. I'll use the glue gun. I'll believe these were made from the chassis of the trailers for the boats, and then they just used planks of wood to make the frame. Right, and some corners on there, some glue on the corners, and then you get your cross shape. So you want your cross bar here to be on the top. So then we've got our little bits of cardboard, just 3 stacked up. So I'm just going to glue those together. I'm just going to stack them in the middle of the cross, if you can see, like that. It's a great way of using up old packaging. You get so much of it now. And this is just using stuff that comes through the post. Okay, we've got my little stack of cardboard in the middle. That's going to hold the mast in place. I'm just going to pop a hole in the middle of that. I've got this little tool. You could use a knitting needle or a bodkin. I'm just going to stick a hole in. It just helps to get the mast in after it's all been paper mache. So I'm just going to pop a hole in there. The next thing I'm going to do is make the seat. So I need to have this angle, and I'm just going to draw around. It's quite approximate, but it needs to be to about there, across, and make a seat. So I've just got my bit of cardboard here. I'll draw around it. And then it will fit. Doesn't need to go right to the point, or you could draw around the point. Okay, shape like that. I'm just going to cut that out. Right, so that's going to go there. But before we do that, I'm going to paper mache the frame. So paper mache is really easy. Just need some newspaper. I'm just going to rip it into little strips. It's amazing how straight the strips are. Right. Get lots ready before we start. And I basically need some PVA, cover your newspaper. And just stick it all the way around the frame, like that. And you're going to cover the whole thing. I find it easier to put the glue on the newspaper, but you could put the glue onto your frame. It might get a bit messy though. If you want to cover every bit with a layer of paper mache. You don't have to use newspaper, you could use brown paper or any paper really, as long as it's quite thin. probably not a glossy magazine or anything like that, because you want to paint it afterwards and the paint won't stick to the glossy magazine. You just cover your whole frame like that. When it's all covered, we're going to paint it with just some normal acrylic paint. Right, we've got our model now completely covered in newspaper, and I've left it overnight to dry. It should dry overnight on a radiator or something, or you could leave it a couple of days so it's completely dry. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a hole in the middle here for the mast. So just pierce that, and then it's ready to paint. So I'm just using an acrylic paint, and I'm going to do this one in red. So here we go. Going to paint it all over and then leave it to dry. Okay, so we've got that painted now. I'm just going to leave it to dry. It's probably a good idea to lean it against something till it's dry, and don't forget to paint your seat. Okay, so we're going to leave that to dry. Okay, so our ice yacht base is now dry. I've just given it one coat, but I quite like the newspaper showing through, but if you want to give it another coat and cover up the print and everything, and go ahead. You'll probably find you've missed bits. Once it's dry, you can usually see the bits you've missed, so you can just give it another little bit where you've got some patches. The next thing to do is to attach our seat. So you could just glue it if you wanted to, and you could draw on some what could be nails or screws in there, but I quite like to stitch mine on. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, is I'm going to pierce the seat with this sharp pointy tool. You could use a big bodkin or a knitting needle. So I'm just going to pierce along this edge about every centimetre. So I'm just going to draw that off. So they're about centimetres apart, and you want to make the same amount of holes down both sides. So I'm just going to make holes now where those black dots are. I've put some couple of layers of cardboard onto my table. I mean, I've got this table is a craft table. It's covered in paint anyway, but you may want to just protect your table and put something down so you don't go through into the wood underneath. I'm just going to pierce it. There we go. I've pierced it. Thread a needle through there nice and easily now. I'm going to place my seat where I want it to go, like that. And using my sharp tool again, I'm going to pierce, going through the hole in the seat, right the way through the frame, so I can get a needle right through. So this is a bit harder to do than the seat was. You need to push really hard. Give it a wiggle and just go all the way along so it matches the hole in the seat, when you stitch it, it'll be easy to stitch. So now I've pierced the base, and I'm going to push the needle right the way through, so really mind your hands. I've got my bodkin here. It's a nice long piece of string. I'm going to do a double knot. There. Place my seat on there, going in from the bottom and through. And just go over and over. It's a nice way of attaching. Or maybe they would have done this. Right. Over the top, underneath, and through the bottom. Okay, last one. I'm just going to tie a knot in that. And cut it off. There, now we've attached our seat without any glue. Right, the next thing to do is to make our skates. So we need to turn it over. So we need to have 3 pieces of card, about 7 centimetres. You can always trim it if they look too long. I'm just going to cut that out of this piece here. So roll up our card. Just bend it a little bit. We've got shape like that. I'm just going to use my masking tape. Tape it up. You might think of something better to use than cardboard. You can think of something. That's it. Now I'm going to this is just to help to secure your skis to the bottom of the yacht. So just going so that if you bend it up a little bit, that will be the bottom of your ski. Just put a pin, normal dressmaking pin, through there. It's a bit hard to do. Just push it through. And then I'm going to get some tin foil, just kitchen foil. And I'm going to wrap that around my ski. I assume they would have been metal. Again, you may think of something better than this. So we have our ski like that and our pin. Now, I'm going to turn my yacht up the other way, so that's the bottom of it. I'm going to pop a little bit of glue around the pin. And then push that into the base. Just push it down with a bit of my scissors. There we have it. And that's my ski in place. You could put a little bit of cardboard on top of your ski, just stack a couple of pieces up like we did here, just to give it a little bit of a distance between the base and the ski. That's basically it. And then we put one on there and one on there, and that will be our finished base. And the next thing to do is to put a sail on top. Okay, and that'll be in another workshop.